Welcome to the next episode of the CyberShift podcast. Today, we're diving into something absolutely critical for every business listening, the changing role of passwords in your security.
It really is vital. Things have shifted dramatically.
Think about your company's sensitive data for a moment. Maybe it's client info, financial records, internal plans. It's like your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel secure using just one single key if you knew that key could be easily copied, stolen, or even, bought by someone else?
Probably not. That's a really good way to put it.
And that's pretty much the reality many businesses face today, relying only on passwords.
It is. We see it constantly. Passwords alone just aren't enough anymore.
We've seen firsthand how this leaves businesses wide open. So in this episode, we'll explain exactly why they're no longer sufficient protection.
And crucially, what concrete steps you can actually take to bolster your defenses. Practical stuff.
Exactly. Our goal is to give you practical knowledge, things you can use without getting overwhelmed by all the tech jargon. Sound good?
Sounds perfect. Let's get into it. So, the core problem.
Yeah, let's start there. Why aren't passwords cutting it anymore? Our experience here at CyberShift Technologies and pretty much all the data out there points to one thing.
Compromised passwords. That's the main way attackers get in.
It really is. We're talking stolen, guessed, or purchased credentials. It's often the first door they try.
And it's often unlocked because of, common habits within businesses. Things people do every day.
Things we see every day, like reusing the same password.
Oh, absolutely. Using the same one for your email, your CRM, maybe some less critical online tool. It's convenient, sure, but incredibly risky.
Because if that one less secure tool gets breached,
bingo. They have the key to everything else you use that password for. It's like a domino effect. We've seen it happen.
And what about the passwords themselves? Still seeing things like company name 123 or spring 2024?
Unfortunately, yes. Way too often. Simple, guessable passwords. People think adding an exclamation mark makes it strong, but attackers know these patterns.
It's the digital equivalent of hiding the key under the mat, isn't it?
It really is. Or worse, writing them down.
Oh, yeah. Sticky notes on monitors, unsecured spreadsheets.
We've seen it all. It basically broadcasts the keys to the kingdom.
So even if a company tries to enforce strong password policies, complexity, regular changes, that's still not foolproof, is it?
Not entirely, no, because there's still the huge risk of cloud app breaches. That's a major factor.
Explain that a bit more. How does a breach somewhere else affect my business directly?
Okay, so let's say an employee uses their work email password, even a strong one, for some other online service, maybe a shopping site, a forum, whatever.
Right.
If that service gets breached, the attackers get that password. Then they try it against major platforms like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. That's called credential stuffing.
And it works.
Alarmingly often. Because, as we just said, password reuse is so common. They're just trying keys and locks until one fits.
So they aren't even necessarily targeting your company specifically at first. They're just using lists of stolen credentials.
Exactly. And the statistics on this are, they're stark. Compromised passwords are involved in something like over 80% of security breaches.
80%? That's huge.
It dominates the landscape. It's not usually some super sophisticated hack bypassing everything. It's often just walking in the front door with a stolen key.
So relying on just passwords, it's fundamentally flawed now.
It really is, like a vault with a combination everyone knows.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. We recently worked with a new client at CyberShift Technologies, a small business, maybe 15 employees. They called us after a pretty serious security incident. It really highlights everything we're talking about.
These real-world cases are always powerful. What happened?
They were using Microsoft 365 for their email and files, standard setup, but one employee had reused their Microsoft 365 password.
Ah, there it is. Where do they reuse it?
On some other, less secure cloud application they use daily, maybe project management, maybe something else. Not something they thought of as high risk like their main email.
Right. People compartmentalize risk. They don't always see the connection.
And that secondary app predictably suffered a data breach.
So the password was exposed.
Exactly. And because it was the same password as their Microsoft 365 account, the attackers had what they needed, they tried it, and boom, they were in.
And crucially, I'm guessing, no multi-factor authentication, no second check.
None. No MFA prompted, no alerts triggered by the unusual login. It was just password access granted.
That's the scary part. Once they had that password, the door was wide open. It just shows MFA isn't optional anymore. It's essential.
And the consequences were fast. Within hours, the attackers were accessing sensitive company data.
Like what?
Client files, internal strategy documents, financial records, everything.
Yeah.
Think about the damage someone can do with that level of access in just a few hours.
Nightmare scenario. Fraudulent transfers, stealing data, messing with client communications.
It could have been any of those. And you know how they found out. Not through an alert system. A client called them, questioned a suspicious wire transfer request that came from the compromised email account.
Wow. So it was sheer luck, basically. Someone noticing something felt wrong.
Pretty much. It shows you can't just rely on reactive measures.
Definitely not.
Thankfully, our CyberShift Technologies team jumped in fast. We managed to contain it, reset everything, lock things down.
And implement proper security, I hope.
Oh, yeah. MFA was priority number one across their entire Microsoft 365 setup. But even though we stopped further damage, the whole thing caused massive stress, fear, potential reputation hits.
And the key takeaway.
It was all preventable, completely preventable with the right basics in place.
That story, unfortunately, isn't unique. We see variations of it too often. It just hammers home why passwords alone are not a strategy.
Right. So based on that and our broader experience helping businesses, what should every business listening actually do? What are the recommendations?
Okay, let's lay out some key strategies. These are things we implement for our clients at CyberShift Technologies. First up, get a proper business-grade password manager.
Foundational. Why is that so important?
Well, it tackles the root causes we talked about. It generates and securely stores complex, unique passwords for every single site and app.
So employees don't have to remember dozens of crazy passwords.
Exactly, which means they won't reuse them or pick weak ones. The manager handles the complexity. It removes that friction and that risk.
And they help with secure sharing too, right? If teams need access to the same account.
Yes, good point. No more emailing passwords or sending them in chats. The manager provides secure ways to share credentials when necessary. It's just a core tool for any modern business.
Okay, number one, password manager. What's next?
Number two, and we really can't stress this enough, enable multi-factor authentication, MFA, everywhere you possibly can.
Not just suggested, but required.
Absolutely required. It's probably the single biggest security improvement you can make. Non-negotiable in today's world.
Because even if the password gets stolen,
they still can't get in without that second factor. Usually a code from an app on your phone, maybe a fingerprint or a physical key. It blocks the vast majority of these password-based attacks cold.
You mentioned app-based MFA. Is that better than getting codes via text message, SMS?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We strongly recommend app-based authenticators like Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, Authy. SMS codes can be intercepted through things like SIM swapping. Apps are much more secure.
Okay, so universal MFA, preferably app-based. Got it. What's recommendation 3?
Number 3 is about being proactive. Dark web monitoring.
How does that work?
So at CyberShift Technologies, we continuously scan the dark web, those hidden parts of the internet where stolen data gets traded. We look specifically for email addresses and credentials linked to our clients' domains.
So if an employee's password from, say, that breached secondary app we talked about shows up for sale,
we get an alert. We can then immediately tell you, hey, this account's credentials might be compromised. Force a password reset now.
Before the attackers even have a chance to use it against your main system.
Exactly. It's an early warning system. It turns a potential breach into a simple password reset. Incredibly valuable.
Proactive, not just reactive. Makes sense. Recommendation 4.
Number 4 addresses the human element. Regular security awareness training.
Because tech alone isn't enough.
Nope. People are often the target. Through things like phishing emails or fake login pages, training helps your team become a strong first line of defense, not a weak link.
What should that training cover?
Key things like how to spot phishing attempts, recognizing suspicious links or attachments, understanding why they shouldn't reuse passwords, although the password manager helps there, and generally fostering good security habits.
So it's about building a security-aware culture.
Precisely. Empowering your employees to recognize threats and know what to do, like reporting suspicious emails, it massively reduces risk from human error.
Okay, password manager, MFA, dark web monitoring, security training. Is there a 5th?
Yes, the 5th is more of an ongoing mindset. Maintain a proactive security posture.
Meaning security isn't a one-time project.
Definitely not. The threats are always changing, so your defenses need to adapt too. It means regularly reviewing your systems, patching vulnerabilities quickly, updating policies, basically staying vigilant.
It's a continuous process.
It is. That's what modern security practice looks like. It's that cycle of assessing, implementing, reviewing, adapting. That's how we operate at CyberShift Technologies.
Okay, that's a really solid set of recommendations. So, just to wrap up, if you're listening and thinking about your own business security, ask yourself honestly, are you still mostly just relying on passwords?
Because as we've laid out, with the data, the real-world examples, that approach just carries too much risk today, significant risk.
It's like putting a great lock on the front door, but leaving the windows wide open.
Well said. So if you're feeling unsure about how strong your current security actually is, or maybe you need help putting these solutions in place, things like a good password manager, getting MFA rolled out, setting up dark web monitoring.
Or maybe getting that security awareness training going for your team.
Yeah, all of that. We at CyberShift Technologies, we're here to help. That's what we do. We partner with businesses to build security that actually works for them.
You can find out more on our website, that's cybershift.com, or just email us, info@cybershift.com. Start a conversation. Let's talk about your specific situation.
We really do believe in technology with integrity and service with care. We want to help you protect what you've built.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to the CyberShift podcast today. We hope this was valuable.
We look forward to sharing more insights with you in our next episode.
Thank you for listening to the CyberShift podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to stay up to date on all things CyberShift Technologies, make sure to subscribe to our podcast and join the newsletter on cybershift.com. Have a great day.